Bob said, for starting this off with a pretty profound idea. Where have we come 50 years later? Richard ended his introduction with saying he wished he would leave on a high note. Hopefully I will conclude on that high note. That this conference, as a conference planning committee member, is ultimately about advocacy and civil rights. And which is why I was drawn to work with Richard when 2.5 years ago, our campus president at Our Lady of the Lake University, Diane Melby, and our provost, Dr. Marquita Evans, reached out to me to participate as a point of contact for our university to work with the executive committee. So I will speak mostly about the conference and the conference committee and where we're at, and then afterwards be happy to take any questions that you may have. And I know that the committee does have copies of sort of what I'm going to highlight, but I will go ahead and read some of this for those in the audience. So the conference planning committee role was ultimately to organize a call for papers. This is at the point in time where I was brought in to work with the executive committee. Our role was not only to craft and draft and write the call for proposals, which probably went through 10 or 11 drafts, but it was also to circulate the call for papers to not only universities and community colleges, but to social media sites, local and national community organizations, and our own individual points of contact. It was an exhausting experience to get the news out for those to participate in this conference. We also developed the conference agenda, secured conference space at Our Lady of the Lake University, and curate the concurrent sessions, as well as work with other subcommittee members to finalize the agenda. I am proud to say that I am working with 8 fierce and amazing Latina scholars and activists and community leaders that include Rosie Castro, who's also a Civil Rights Executive Committee member, Maria Antoinette Berriozabal, who's Civil Rights Executive Committee member, former City Council member, and she's currently part of the Housing Policy Task Force for San Antonio. Dr. Bertha Perez, who is a retired professor out of University of Texas at San Antonio, Nicole Matzavayas, who is at Our Lady of the Lake University, and she's our JV ADA coordinator for services to students with disabilities. Barbara, the executive committee couldn't actually live without. She's the executive assistant to the 50th anniversary committee. Maria Vasquez, who's the program director of ACT Center for Equity and Learning, and Rebecca Flores, who is an activist and community leader. She's also the Texas director of the United Farm Workers Association. So I thought it was important to share with you a brief blurb, it's not the entire one, of the call for papers that went out nationally. In 1968, the U.S. Commission on Civil Rights held a 6-day hearing in San Antonio, Texas, to examine civil rights issues facing Mexican Americans in the U.S. Southwest. The hearings, held at Our Lady of the Lake University, examined education, employment, administration of justice, and economic issues. When the commission came under severe criticism from the established leadership in the local community, Reverend Theodore Hesburgh, president then of Notre Dame University and vice chairman of the commission, responded, quote, "We are not an enforcement agency. We make reports to the president and to Congress. All we do is hold up a mirror to the community and let them tell us if there are any problems. And that's what we're doing here," end quote. Hence the name of our conference. In November 2018, we returned 50 years later to Our Lady of the Lake University in San Antonio, Texas. Our goal is to examine our past and progress since the landmark hearings in Texas and explore the path forward for all Mexican American and Latino populations in the U.S. This conference will address changing civil rights, demographics, education, the administration of justice, economics, employment, immigration, political participation, and voting rights issues. We will also celebrate Mexican American contributions to the art and culture. The conference is open to civil rights leaders, historians, and representatives of academic, civic, and social civil rights and leaders, as well as arts and culture and student organizations in Texas and throughout. Our Lady of the Lake University is in San Antonio, Texas, situated in the west side, located by the beautiful Elmendorf Lake. Our Lady of the Lake was founded in 1895 by the Congregation of Divine Providence, is a co-educational liberal arts institution with an enrollment of approximately 3,300 students. A multi-campus regional university, Our Lady of the Lake has locations in San Antonio, Houston, and the Rio Grande Valley. And we are currently moving towards an extensive online presence. So the conference is this November, November 15th through Saturday the 17th. So just briefly to kind of give you an idea of some keynote speakers that were speaking on those separate dates. On Thursday, there is going to be planned an art opening reception. Our keynote speaker will be San Antonio's First Lady, Erica Prosper. We will also have a reading by San Antonio's first Latino male poet laureate, Dr. Octavio Quintanilla. And we also have other tentative readings by other area poets and literary authors, as well as an art reception. This event will be open to the entire community. On Friday, we will have a welcome by our university's president, Dr. Diane Melby, and an introduction of keynote speaker by our own mayor, Ron Nuremberg. The keynote morning speakers will include former Secretary of Housing and Urban Development, Julian Castro, our Congressman Joaquin Castro, and their mother, Rosie. Our lunch keynote tentative speakers include U.S. Senator of Nevada, Catherine Cortez Masto, and retired University of Texas Pan American President and first Latina College President of University of Texas Systems, Dr. Bambi Cardenas. And on Saturday, our tentative speakers included City Council member Ana Sandoval and immigration rights leader Gabby Pacheco. So just for those in the audience to get an idea of our conference concurrent sessions, some of the themes right now that we're organizing include Chicana activism and leadership, education, the great equalizer in the unequal Texas, constructing Chicano-Latino educational pipelines, critical race conversation and analysis, family engagement in Chicano education, immigration, discussing Senate Bill 4, language, rights, policy, and leadership, historical reoccurring and new dynamics in civil rights from a political point of view, voting rights, urban housing, economic development, economic security and digital equity, bilingual education in San Antonio history and context, Mexican-American studies for the masses, San Antonio Eastside transition from African-American to Mexican-American, Mexican-American community and public health, the critical significance of the 1975 Voting Rights Act, and we will have a significant amount of roundtable sessions focused on civic activism and civil rights. It is a big honor for me to serve with the executive leaders on this particular conference. As Bob can tell you, as academics, we attend many conferences. It's part of our role as a faculty member. But this particular conference really holds a special place in my heart because, again, considering where we have come, sometimes I question how far we've come. And it's important we have these conversations to bring to light injustices that are currently happening in the United States. Thank you.